Left of the box. Apparently, there was this news out there of NYPD officers assaulted by 5 asylum seekers and how brutal these asylum seekers are, and we need to deport them all. And Olemi mentioning, I just want you all to remember exactly which leftist creators ate this up and ran wild with NYPD's lies and started spewing xenophobia and calling for deportation. Oh, Anna covered this? Really? She covered this?
I'm wondering, did she even refer to herself as a leftist?
Yeah, she covered this news story about, I wonder how her leftist progressive analysis is of this story.
And robbery. He allegedly attacked a loss prevention officer at a Macy's department store during an alleged robbery, and also allegedly punched and bit a Nordstrom Rack employee in November.
So going over a history long before this event actually happened. Okay, so.
I don't want to get ahead of myself here because I have a whole argument that I'm about to make. But let me just say this. Considering the lack of resources for migrants, considering the fact that you have a situation in which there isn't enough shelter and you have migrants sleeping outside, can we deport the migrants who are engaging in this kind of behavior and this kind of crime? Like, one of them has already gotten arrested twice for assaulting employees at retail stores. And then you have the surveillance footage of them kicking cops in the head as the cops are trying to detain another guy. Why? What are we doing? So they get arrested and then they're let out. No bail, because it's New York City, of course.
Yes, New York City, the crime capital of the United States. Be wary if you go there. She is so, when it comes to this subject and a couple other subjects, wow.
Yeah, I was never really much of a TYT watcher like that. So I haven't like watched her change
Well,
necessarily.
she hasn't, let's just say she hasn't necessarily changed, but she's gotten more vocal and meaner when it comes to these subjects.
Well, I saw her on somebody's podcast say that she feels uncomfortable around people of other races.
Yeah.
And I was just like, that's more racist than like a lot of things these right-wing people say, actually.
And yet, whenever people say something to her about her being white, she'll be like, I'm not white though. She's Armenian. But then when she says that she feels uncomfortable talking to people outside of her race, what exactly is she meaning by race there?
Right, exactly. But hearing no, like honestly, like that, when I heard her say that, I was like, that's literally more racist than a lot of things these right-wing commentators say, actually. Like, you can make a chicken and watermelon joke, like, okay, cool, whatever, that's cute. But when you're saying I feel uncomfortable around these people, like, you sound like a KKK wife. Like, so I don't really take her that serious, but also I'm not a TYT watcher. But it's really unfortunate, her narrative on this subject. When I hear about NYPD getting beat up, I'm excited. You know,
kind of overdue in some situations, or sometimes
right?
it's simply self-defense.
Yeah, like I'm like, okay, have y'all heard of Abner Louima? Like, the NYPD still hasn't paid for that. So these
Sorry, please clarify.
Okay, Abner Louima was, I want to say this was like 1999 or 2000. I'm not sure, but he was arrested and assaulted and had a plunger put up his anus by NYPD officers. He was beat to a pulp and was sodomized.
You know, I think I vaguely remember this now that you mention it.
Yeah, it was a big thing. And not too long after that, there was another guy. I kind of forgot his name, but I think I forgot this person's name, but he was like shot like 41 times or something like that by NYPD. When he's like went for his wallet when they're asking him for it. But yeah, like I don't know if you're a leftist and you're mad about the NYPD getting beat up by anybody. Maybe they feel like they can't, like, I don't know if they knew that these were like migrants. Like, I don't know if they knew if they were asylum seekers, but if they did and they felt like, hey, let's like not shoot them because they're asylum seekers. I'm here to encourage other asylum seekers. If you feel like they're not going to shoot you because of your status, please go assault the NYPD.
Well, there's an update to this story we'll get to in just a moment.
Okay, listen, I know we have a giant left-wing audience and I love you guys.
Speaking as an NB, I doubt that.
Please don't give into some knee-jerk reaction to provide cover for these people. These are not.
Yes, because they're asylum seekers, they don't have any rights anymore. That's basically like, oh, they're asylum. No, just take away all their rights. You know, feel free to do whatever the hell you want to them. Is kind of her argument here.
They're not people you need to provide cover for. These are people who are in the country claiming asylum. They don't have a right to be here. It is.
You have the right to it. You do have the right to.
Wow. See, like,
you have that right to be there.
Like, see, like, what are we doing here? Like, they don't have a right to be here, really?
But you have the right to claim asylum.
Anywhere.
Yeah.
Like, either you're just racist or you're an idiot. Like, what are we doing here? Like, they don't have a right to be here? Like, you're gross, dude. Come on now.
It is a privilege to be able to take advantage of our asylum program and be able to claim asylum, claim that you're here because of whatever reason. I don't know exactly which reason they gave for their asylum claim. And you get to have your case adjudicated in front of a judge. But if you're causing all sorts of chaos, and if you're assaulting police officers, like the idea that we're not even having a conversation about immediately deporting them is ridiculous. But then not only that, they get arrested and immediately released without bail because of bail reform in New York. That's insane. Right? Am I crazy? I don't know. I feel like I've lost my mind at this point. I feel like I'm gonna get like an onslaught of ridiculous harassment because I think people seeking asylum.
Harassment, not ridiculous though.
And taking up finite resources that could be given to another asylum seeker who isn't causing problems.
One of the good ones.
Right.
And so new body cam from Alejandra Carabello. New body cam footage shows the police approaching the group of men in Times Square unprovoked and told them to move. Then they started beating the man in the yellow after he started moving because he made a joke that the officer looked like Ugly Betty. NYPD lied, propaganda at work. And so there is footage of you seeing them walk away. He's pushing a stroller with his belongings in it. At one point, he stops to pick up something. Then the cop kind of siphons him off from his group, pushes him up against the wall, and starts attacking him. But do you think Anna's going to say anything about that? You know, now that this footage is out there? Is she going to take back her statement? Or does she still feel like because they did some petty crimes earlier that they deserve to be deported anyway? And
when she said they don't have a right to be here, like, I'm just like, okay, like, you're just not even part of what we're doing here.
And keep in mind, a lot of petty crimes are committed out of desperation.
Yeah, dude, you know, whatever. It's America, dude. People are stealing stuff and shit. It's fine. Like, it's like, things will be okay, dude. You know, it's fine. And like, you know.
This is the footage going on in the background, just going. But her, like all these other media sources out there, they're not going to retract statements after they've been proven to be false. The way that they editorialize, the way that they pick stories, it's a choice. It's a choice to cover this story in the first place. When there's so many other things that could be covered, of more importance.
Whatever day this happened, for sure, there were like at least like 10 police shootings in America.
Yeah, well, it's like recently they did a whole big story and blow up about this one woke kindergarten class or something. It's like you're focusing in on that. Like
Right.
it's not even a real thing. Like it's done by one person as an experiment. Like it's not
Right.
even a real thing. And, also maybe starting to teach kids about inclusivity and all that sort of stuff younger, not necessarily a bad thing either.
Not a
But
bad thing at all.
the way that they framed it, the way that they blew up on it, the way that they commented on it, and it's like it's a non-story. It's not like this is something that is happening across the state. Like, I don't know, don't say gay. Like,
Right.
it is one kindergarten class. At what? Charter school, maybe, probably. I don't know.
No, I actually had to talk to a friend of mine, like an old friend of mine who I recently reconnected with, and apparently he's like a Joe Rogan guy now. But he was bringing that up, and I'm like, I didn't even know what the story was, but I'm like, what's the problem in telling kids that trans people exist? Like, that's a good thing, actually. Like, kids should be made aware of different kinds of people.
Mm-hmm.